Welcome back to Marshall Remodel. This is the Mad County Build Series, and on today's show, we're going to be installing our kitchen cabinets that we purchased from CabinetDirect.com.
We're so excited to finally be able to show you the kitchen and how it's all coming together. And CabinetDirect.com has extended a special discount to all of our Marshall Remodel followers. You can get 5% off your cabinet order if you head to their website and purchase cabinets through them. So let's get to the installation.
All right, guys, we are starting the kitchen cabinet install. I don't know if you can see Emily's face, but she's pretty excited. We hauled all these cabinets in here last night, so we have them all out of the garage. They're all out here in the open area, spread kind of all the bottom cabinets are laid out where they go. I like to do the bottom cabinets first. We're gonna work on this wall, and we're gonna start in the lower cabinets. Our stove goes there, and then we basically have kind of matching sets. There's a little differences on each side, which I'll let Emily explain that once we get these all done in a different video. But these are two separate cabinets. This is a cabinet, and this is a cabinet, and they're frameless. So typically you screw the face frames together. But in these, I'm screwing the sides of these cabinets together, and I'm making, before I install this, level it, plumb it, and get it fastened to the wall, I'm making them one cabinet. And how I'm doing that is I'm taking 1.25 inch kind of self-tapping wood screws, and I'm screwing them together. So you can see I got 3 screws across the top, 3 screws across the middle, and 3 screws across the bottom. And I'm making sure that we're flush here, flush all the way down along the front. So now these are connected in like one cabinet. So now I can level it, plumb it, and get it fastened to the wall. And if you remember back when I was framing the kitchen, I put nailers in here to make this easier, which I'm gonna reap the benefit and the reward of that during this installation. So I have a nailer that goes all the way across just at the top of these cabinets, lower cabinets, so I can just screw anywhere into the wall and I'll hit a 2x4. We got the stove unwrapped, and we took a measurement just to be sure. It's 35 and 7/8. And I like about an 1/8 inch gap on each side. So I figured out where my cabinets need to go, and so I've marked my opening here. Now when I install these, I need to make sure that not only is the gap 36 1/8 up here, but I need to make sure that these cabinets are level and plumb, so my gap at the bottom is 36 1/8. If you don't do that on your stove or your refrigerator, you could end up in a mess. So we are plumb down the side, and we are level in the middle. So really, I got a shim right here. Shim that. So we're pretty good. So got a little dip in the wall right here, not much. But we'll shim that. We're gonna screw it here, here, and then we'll put one through here, and that should be plenty to hold it to the wall. Screw up there, screw up there. All right, so we're working on this wall now with the refrigerator. We got these two cabinets hooked together. And because these are frameless, we cut a 3/8 inch filler, kind of kick that out enough that there will be no chance that the drawer will hit this wall. And so we got the level on the back. We're level there. I've got shims. We needed to bring the front end up just a little bit, so I got shims under each of the front legs, which gets this all level here. And then lastly, at the end, we want to make sure this is nice and level because the refrigerator enclosure is going to attach to it, and we're good. So now we're going to go ahead and fasten this in. We'll do 2 screws on each cabinet, and then I am going to find a stud right here, which there should be one right here, and I'm going to put a screw up here with a shim, and then I'll do one down lower just to kind of suck this into the corner and make sure this is a nice tight seam. So all right, so this is fastened, leveled, plumbed. Now we have the refrigerator, and so we have to figure out how much room to leave. The refrigerator is actually 35 3/4 inches, so we're going to leave a 36-inch gap, but we have the refrigerator enclosure that we have to figure for, which is 5/8 inches thick, 5/8 inch. So we have to do 5/8 and 5/8, which is 1.25 inches plus 36 is 37.25 needs to be our gap. So we're 37.25, and then we'll run a plumb line down to make sure we maintain that all the way down. All right, we got all the lower cabinets on the outside edge, all fastened in, leveled, plumb. Now I just got done marking for the upper, so I use my laser level to mark my line. all the way around. So I'm good and consistent on the height of my upper cabinet. So this would be the bottom edge of my upper cabinets. And then I went ahead and put my level up the side and marked the corners. I've double and triple checked my width measurements all the way up. So we should be good to start setting upper cabinets. So I'm gonna take 2x4s and screw them to the wall right here, so that when Emily and I get ready to put the cabinets up, all we have to do is get them up onto that 2x4, and that will hold the weight, and then we can get them screwed. So I have 3 nailers in here. I have one at the bottom, one in the middle, and one at the top. So we shouldn't have a problem finding enough places to screw these off. I got my wires for my under cabinet light. I'm gonna have to drill a hole, get those into the back of the cabinet. But that shouldn't be that big of a deal. Well, we're gonna lift this up. I hope Emily has what it takes.
Okay.
All right, now get under it.
Okay.
And we're just gonna set it up on the, ready?
Whoa.
Tell me when you're ready.
Yep.
We're gonna set it up here.
Okay.
And then I'll hold it like this, and you can kind of pull it away a little bit
Okay.
and stick that through there. You can do it. Well, you're gonna have to get down, get under to get it high enough.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3. Whoa. 1, 2, 3. No, just push up. Alright. We're gonna slide it down. Let's not try to protect that wire. Okay. Got it? All right, we have all the base cabinets on the outside edge and all the uppers up. Now we're going to tackle this fridge bay. So we got the sides, and then there's a cabinet that comes all the way out to the edge of the refrigerator. So we're going to do that right now so we can put our refrigerator in. and start using it. But these upper cabinets, I will get, these are the tails to my low voltage under the cabinet lighting. I run them into the cabinet and then I'll drill a little hole, run them down underneath. But I'll start a couple screws on the top, a couple on the bottom. I put a 2x4 in along the line that I marked with my laser level. That way we can just set the cabinet up on that. That holds all the weight, so then all you have to do is hold it against the wall. That makes it easy for Emily to just hold it up there while I kind of get it squared and whatnot. But I'll run a couple screws in, get the level on it, and then shim it where I need to, and it works out really well. I can tell you, putting nailers in prior to drywall is a lifesaver. So if you're remodeling or you're building new, do that. It'll save you a lot of headache trying to find studs and getting into something solid. We're gonna go ahead and get the refrigerator compartment done. We do have to rip those down. They came in a big sheet, so we're gonna have to get the table saw up and run them through there so they're even with the front of the cabinets there. And then the cut end will go against the wall. All right, so we have our two sides cut. Got them in there. We think they're gonna work good. Here is the cabinet that goes above the refrigerator. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna fasten these panels to this laying on the floor so we can get the tops all perfectly square and fastened together, and then we will stand it up and slide the whole thing in there. We have about a 1/16 of an inch to play with up there at the top, so you know, we should be good, hopefully. You're only at 4%. Alright, so let me get underneath it. I'm gonna try to do this square. Oh boy, that's heavy.
You promise? You think you promise?
Okay, now do you want me to come up with
You just kind of lift.
Very good.
I'm just waiting for someone else to go first. Somebody did that. Was that last time?
Okay.
Now, what we gotta be careful not to do is to, so, let me just lift it.
Okay.
Just kind of balance it.
Okay, all of a sudden everyone's just getting out. I was waiting for the first person to get out. I'll take some water. Liz, help me out. Give me something. What's that kiss?
Okay.
So you got another one? I think that's
I need you to get on that side.
Okay.
There you go. Right there. That's all. It's gonna have to go in perfectly square. That worked really, really good. And I mean, we barely had enough room to get it in there, which is what we want. Now we can screw these into here and these into these cabinets. And then we'll also screw from the inside of the upper cabinets into this to lock that all in there. The kitchen sink here, it's got to go on this base. So as soon as Emily is ready to help me, we're going to move this out of the box and see what we're working with here. Got all the outside cabinets hung. We don't have any of the crown molding on yet. Stoves installed, refrigerators installed. We'll work on getting this island all set up, and I think for the time being, until we get our countertops in, I'm going to take some plywood and put over the top so we can start utilizing this area. So what do I need to do? We got to cut this out because this is another apron front sink, right?
Yeah.
So there isn't actually a shelf in this cabinet. What I'm going to do is I'll measure from here to here, and then I'll block it on both sides. Hopefully that looks a little more than a 2x4. About 1 3/4 inches. We'll take a 2x4 and then I'll cut a 1/4 inch shim with the table saw, and I'll block it on both sides. And then underneath, because this sink is so heavy, I'll build some supports right there that are underneath that 2x4 to really give it some strength. So, all right guys, I cut some 2x4s. I ripped them down on my table saw so I could add a 1/2 inch of plywood to get to the 1 7/8 I need. So we're going to take the sink out, temporarily set these in, set the sink back in to make sure that it fits. See, we got a little clearance there, a little clearance there, which is what we want. Now we'll lay this on its back, get this piece marked out, and then this piece just pops off the base, so all I'll have to do is take that outside and cut it, but have Emily help me here. You guys can see these porcelain sinks aren't perfectly flat across the top. I know it's kind of hard to see here, but we're even right here, but then it dips down a little bit right here in the middle, and then we're even back over here. So it's important. I like to just lay the sink up here like I showed you in that last video, and then mark it out with tape. All right, we got this cut in. I'm gonna put trim on this like I did all the bathroom sinks. It's not a bad cut though. I got this marked down in there. I'm gonna cut that out probably a couple inches bigger because there's gonna be a garbage disposal. I got blocks to hold it from going back. I have plenty of room for all my faucets to come up through here. And then we have blocks down here on both sides holding all that up. All right, so we're marking for all these pipes. Got water lines. I got one hot water line for our 2 dishwashers. We're gonna have a dishwasher on each side of the sink. And then we have the hot and cold for just the sink. And then we have all of our electrical circuits coming up through here, which there will be a junction box underneath. Those 3 pipes go through those 3 holes, and that goes through there. So mommy and daddy are gonna lift this up, and I want you to feed that wire through that hole, okay? And these through that. Can you do it?
All right.
Ready? All right. Okay, wire. You there. Pull her. Hey, high five, girl. Hey! Don't leave me hanging. Get over here. Nice job. Alright guys, so I just finished up the island cabinets. Not too bad. The concrete was high in the middle, and so I had to shim it on the 2 ends, a little bit on this side to get it level, and then actually quite a bit on this side. So it's down about 3/4 to 3/8 here. So what I did is I took some of that flooring and I cut pieces and then screwed them. I turned this cabinet upside down and screwed them to the inside so it sits on those instead of having shims. Once I put my base, I have 3-inch base on this, that'll help hold this where it needs to be as well. Another thing I did was I took some of that hardwood flooring and I screwed it. I laid it across here so it was touching the concrete, and then screwed it into the cabinets to help hold this part up, because you can see that had to be up a little bit. And then to keep the whole, all of these are screwed together now in level, plumb, and to keep this whole thing right there without ever moving, I took some angle, put a 3/8 bolt into the concrete, and then 2 screws through this 3/4 inch hardwood and then into the 3/4 inch plywood of the cabinet. So this thing's rock solid. I got one here, and I have one right here. So if you can see, I mean, this thing doesn't move at all. So I'm pretty excited about that. It's a little bit of work getting it together. What I did was I laid these 3 cabinets all on their back on the floor and screwed them together through the sides. So all 3 of these cabinets were screwed together, so it was basically like one big cabinet, and then Emily and I stood it up, and then it was really easy to level because it was all locked together. So we just shimmed it to get it level. Then we attached the kitchen sink cabinet, and then all we had to do was square and plumb up these end cabinets and make them flush here. So that was pretty easy. We got a dishwasher here and a dishwasher here, and I brought one in to make sure it fits in that space. All right guys, well that was the basic cabinet installation video. We still have lots to do to finish this kitchen. We have crown molding, We have under cabinet trim, we have base trim. Let's see, we have to square up and, you know, get all the doors and handles, all that kind of stuff on. So we'll bring that to you in another video. But if you guys are interested, Emily can tell you a little bit about cabinetsdirect.com.
Yeah, so if you go to cabinetdirect.com, you can follow their process for ordering cabinets. I'm also going to leave a link to a video in the description where I walked through my process of ordering and choosing the color and everything like that in a lot of detail. I show you what you get when you work with cabinetdirect.com. And again, you get a 5% discount through Marshall Remodel. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so make sure you stay tuned. We'll be bringing you the video on how to, you know, install the crown molding, all the trims, how we do our under cabinet lighting, all the handles. And then Emily will do a video once we get this all finished, walking you through, you know, why she chose the cabinet she chose and how she's going to organize and store it. She's really good at that, and our kitchen's going to be pretty efficient. So we really appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We're going to be bringing a lot more content as we're wrapping up the finishing touches to this house. And we will catch you on the next video.